Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to Day 5, Game number 3 of Dignitas Week. Today we are of course following Ourk. He is going to be up against VortiX in this game, the red Zerg player in the lower left. And well, let me just say something quite cool right now. Ourk, for those of you who are observing, will have noticed in Game 1 and 2, was playing Zerg. And those of you who know Ourk will know that is pretty normal. For those of you who don't know Ourk, you may not realise that it's also pretty normal for him to play Protoss, or even Terran. And throughout his career of playing StarCraft 2 at such a high level, all the way back from beta days, he's played pretty much all the races. He's spent a stint doing Terran, stint doing Protoss, then Zerg, then a bit of Protoss. Basically, he can play all the races really, really well, which, as someone who spends a lot of time playing random, and I'm sure lots of you have too, I can assure you that being good at all three races at once is exceptionally difficult, because most people struggle to be good with one race, to be fair. So being good with all three is really quite impressive. Now, in terms of strategy, the map's Daybreak, we can take some things for granted. For a start, we'll probably see either a Forge first or Nexus first out of Ourk, almost guaranteed. Meanwhile, VortiX, it'll be a 14 or 15 pull into an expansion, into a third base at about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on personal preference and queen timings, etc. So, all in all, we know what's going to be happening for about the first 6-7 minutes of this game. We'll just wait and see exactly what sort of strategy that Ourk goes to follow up with. But, all in all, Ourk, I really love the fact that he can play multiple races. I mean, I know most pros can obviously play all races fairly well just because they're so good at the game, but Ourk, he can play it at a top level against top people like VortiX with a lot of the races, and that is something that is really, really impressive. And by all means, if you guys haven't actually ever played random, no matter what league you're in, I really, really strongly suggest it. I've been only playing random now for at least the last kind of 8 weeks, and I have learned so much and got such a deeper appreciation for the other two races. Of course, usually I main as Zerg, so Terran I struggle with just due to the difference. It's such a different macro game and all the different like production mechanics, but all in all, I think playing all three races gives you such a good understanding of what each is strong against, what each is weak against, and really gives you a great sense of the game and how it all links together. So I really would suggest that to everyone. And Ourk, I love the fact that he can play them all, basically. Now, for those of you who are a little bit confused, hang on, Game 3, what's this? Is this like a best of 5 or something? No, is the answer. This is Dignitas Week, where I have been following each day this week one of Dignitas' StarCraft 2 players. Monday, it was the Amazing Dream. Tuesday, Johnny Rico. Wednesday, Bling. Thursday, Tefel. And of course, Friday, which is today at the time of casting, it is of course Ourk, the blue Protoss or Zerg or Terran player. And well, Ourk is pretty impressive. He was obviously signed to Dignitas very, very recently, only at the start of December 2012, after their gamer search at I-47. And actually, we're going to talk about this quickly. Ourk in a little bit of problems here because some Zerglings are around. The probe does survive. 4 Zerglings will come in. I like this little winky face. That is proper cheeky right there. Just like winky winky. I know what you're doing. What's this cheekiness all about? The probes are not actually getting the best surround they could hope for. It actually go completely the other side. But there we go. Third time lucky, he gets the complete surround, and he doesn't lose too many probes. 4 workers were killed. That's a bit of a pain, but well, it doesn't really matter because, well, the third base up for VortiX, and I was busy in my chain of thought trying to tell you about Ourk and Dignitas Week when VortiX has to do that. And Ourk, they're just like, how many do you kill? 3, you believe, VortiX? Unfortunately, no. 4. You did better than you thought. Don't underestimate yourself, our red Zerg player in this game. And I must say, I apologise if I cough at all. I'm recovering from like really, really bad man flu. So yeah, if I cough at all, I do apologise. It's because I'm dying slightly. But no, it'll all be good. Anyway, third base up and running here for VortiX. Now, you may have noticed I haven't paid too much attention to build orders or things like that. This entire series and all of the Dignitas Week, I've not been too focused on builds, etc. Essentially just because this is meant to be fun. It's meant to be about getting to know the players. Of course, all the interviews are up for the players as well in the Team Liquid thread on Definitive Esports, so make sure you check those out, and the whole Team Liquid thread as a whole. Make sure you let us know what you think. Make sure you tweet, of course, at Madals SC2, at Team Dignitas, etc. Let us know that you really enjoyed this, and if you want to see any other teams done in the same fashion, then let me know and I'll contact them and see what I can do, because I think this is a really cool concept. It lets people know the players, the games, their personalities and the teams just a little bit better, and makes esports a little more personal, which is always cool. Anyway, what have we got from Ourk? He's got his robotics facility on its way down. He's got 2 gas, 3rd and 4th gas on its way out. Meanwhile, 3 gas up and running for VortiX. He is getting his Roach run out, so this is really gearing up to be kind of a Roach-Ling timing push. 3 gas means you've got enough to get the lair out relatively early. You've got enough to get Roach speed out relatively early and pump an awful lot of Roaches very, very quickly. You can also afford to get an upgrade, so this is really all going quite nice. We should see a 4th gas added on at some point, but yeah. Everything really going pretty standard. Creep spread looking good for VortiX right now. Ourk, he doesn't have any proxy pylons. He does have this Stalker. Poking and prodding, just annoying the Zerglings a little bit. Could have got a kill if it hit that, or at least would have got that Zergling very, very low. Anyway, +1 on its way out. We've got Sentry on its way out, Warp Gate Tech on its way out. We've got some more gateways being added on. Lair just starting now for VortiX as well. And yeah, as you can see, this is really gearing up to be a fairly standard game. If we look at things like APM, as you can see, wow. That is a lot closer than I thought it would be. 154 to 152 APM average. That is pretty crazy. Units tab, 46 probes to 58 drones. So a slight lead for VortiX, which you'll always expect to see. It'll get bigger now, of course, the 3rd base is injecting. This Overlord is going to scout absolutely everything, though. That is, of course, not something you want. As the Protoss player, you don't want to be completely revealed of what's going on, but of course the Immortal seen researching. I don't know if the Forge was seen. I don't think it was looking from that note. Forge wasn't seen to be researching, so that's something that would have been some good information. These Zerglings may poke up though, and well, what's this? It's a Twilight Council. Where is that? Where's that Twilight Council? So this isn't an Immortal Sentry all-in. The Twilight Council is on its way down, and I'm really looking forward to see what kind of build order Ourk goes for with this. Of course, having spent such a long time as Zerg, he'll know really exactly what he wouldn't want to face himself, so that could be really pretty interesting. Meanwhile, the 3rd base coming down, and looking here, this is really, really similar to the Protoss build that Dream actually goes for, his teammate, where in PvT he takes this 3rd base quite quickly. He fakes almost the Immortal Sentry all in and then just goes and expands, and that can really throw off a lot of Zerg players. But VortiX, he's coming across with what is a large chunk of Roaches, as we can see here, really quite a long way ahead. How many Roaches are there? There's 15 Roaches, 18 Zerglings on the field. Speed for those Zerglings has finished up. Roach speed is just under half done, but double cannons on the way. This gateway will form the wall off, and with the 2 Immortals there, really we should see Ourk being in an okay way to defend, but as you can see, VortiX going to run those Zerglings into the natural. The wall off is complete, though so many Protoss players forget to do that. So Ourk really showing that, hey, I know what I'm doing here, guys. I know what you're probably going to throw at me, and I'm going to defend it just perfectly. So really impressive. Blink on its way down as well, really gearing up for the late game. We've got +2 Protoss ground weapons coming down. Meanwhile, we have +1 Zerg Carapace on its way, as you can see here. +1 Zerg melee attack already finished. The Roaches coming in though. Are they going to try and poke and prod something? Are they going to go for the Forge? They might try to, but there are the 2 Immortals. The Force Fields go down. Trap an awful lot of Zergs, Roaches there, and of course that is good news for Ourk because, well, as you can see, he's able to pick up an awful lot of units in terms of being cost effective. Just under double that of his opponent, but when he picks off these 3 Roaches, it's going to be over double. So that is great news for Ourk. It only cost him a couple of force fields, so everything is where he'd want. He's got his 3rd base up and running, the 4th base nearly up for VortiX now. If we look at the worker count, 76 to 58, so not a huge difference between them. Especially when you think Protoss players don't generally have as many workers as a Zerg. The robotics bay coming down, so already we see here Ourk going up to his kind of Colossi tech, which of course will be very, very strong against Roach Ling. Meanwhile though, Pathogen Glands has just finished. The Infestors are, the first Infestors are going to be coming out. We've got the +1 Carapace, the +2 melee attack coming down. So really, this is VortiX gearing up essentially for Broodlord Infestor, who's getting the Spine Crawler wall, really wanting to push this to the late game. This Zergling coming in to get a good little scout off, see hey what's there, gets a good count on the army, that's all fine. There are 9 Spine Crawlers in production actually for VortiX, so he is definitely gearing up for the later game. Now the robotics bay is nearly finished. Ourk has nearly finished up his Blink research as well, so he's getting sort of all the endgame upgrades. We've got yet more Spine Crawlers coming down, so VortiX up to what is 16 Spine Crawlers, but still at just under 90 drones. So he's droning and building Spine Crawlers, which basically means until those Colossi come out, Ourk is pretty much got to sit back and defend, because he's not going to be able to push through these Spine Crawlers cost effectively without extended thermal lance. VortiX using this great defensive barrier to get up his Hive tech. He's also getting up the upgrades. His Spire is on the way. They were started pretty much at the same time. Both take of course 100 seconds to build, Spire and Hive, which means you can start your greater Spire as soon as Hive is done, which really is the best way to go about it. Meanwhile, we've got these Zerglings running, checking, making sure the complete map awareness has been maintained. What else have we got? Well, we have got a good little look here at some Infestors, some Zerglings coming across. We've got the Watchtower being held by Ourk. The center rocks aren't down yet. The creep spread is moving its way across. And yeah, all in all, this is looking to be going to go for a surround by VortiX. So if VortiX was able to get the surround off, he'd be in an absolutely amazing position. But, well, Ourk does spot the top range of units, does get some force with down. Infested Tones getting locked out. This is, of course, post-patch, so those Infested Tone eggs do only have 70 health, but they do manage to go down. Ourk having to get force fields at absolutely every angle right now, is doing an okay job, though. The Infested Tones are coming in. That is, of course, going to be the threat. A great fungal growth goes off. Ourk could be in a lot of trouble right now, microing back as best he can. Needs to be so careful. These roaches and infestors are pushing so hard. That fourth base almost certainly going to go down for Ourk. Most of his army getting taken out as well. He's got 6 more gateways just about to finish up, though. That's good news for him, and it looks like he's going to be able to clean it up, but he's definitely going to be losing this 4th base now. And, well, all in all, VortiX lost his entire army to pick off the 4th base of Ourk. I think that was a good trade in my opinion, because he did manage to keep Ourk's Colossi count and unit count down relatively low. As a result, the counter-attack shouldn't be too strong, and he's got a good number of spine crawlers here to defend, and he has kept Ourk at bay economically, kept himself a base up. He's now taking an expansion behind this as well. He's pumping a lot of units. His Greater Spire is on its way out. Adrenal Gland's on its way out. The Observer for Ourk, though, is seeing exactly what's going on. These Colossi are going to just have to start going to town on the spine crawlers. The Stalkers do need to be careful not to get surrounded and not to take damage. Of course, fungal growths could be devastating here, but all the infestors on low energy, but 2 more just coming in. Are we going to see a good fungal growth? Well, here we go. VortiX moving forward. He does get a fungal growth on a lot of those Stalkers. They are going down pretty quickly. The Roach is reinforcing VortiX's army, but the Colossi are doing great damage at the moment. Of course, we do have +2 weapons there. That's compared to the 0-1 upgrades for those Roaches. +2 about to kick in for VortiX's armor on the ground units. But, well, as you can see, for the moment, the 3rd Colossi has got over to the main army. This is where the damage starts getting huge, but Corruptors are out for VortiX. He has a grand total of 5, which won't do that much damage. A great blink by Ourk there, and manages to snipe off the Corruptors very quickly. Of course, hoping to keep those Colossi alive, trying to micro them back as best he can, manages to keep all 3 up, and that is just brilliant news for him. And VortiX really being put under so much pressure right now. The Warp Prism on its way over, that's going to allow some more Warp Hits. He runs back and lifts the Colossus. That is absolutely brilliant. That Colossus, of course, very low health, using that pick up and drop micro. This is so intense for VortiX right now. He is going to have to do such a good job of defending this. He's got more units coming over, a lot more Corruptors. He should be able to clean this push up now, but this has gone on for what seems like an eternity for him. And, well, as you can see, the Colossi are finally going to go down, but still an awful lot of Stalkers. All the Spine Crawlers have been cleaned out. We do also have that 1 Immortal. That's going to help massively against these Roaches. The Infestors do not have energy for another fungal growth, and we've got no more on the field either. So those Infestors essentially useless at the moment, and VortiX really at a lot of risk of losing his centre base. This Roaches do seem to be pushing Ourk back, though, for the moment. He's not quite comfortable dealing with that. The Immortal is now starting to get focused, so he micros that back ASAP. The Zerglings trying to go in on it. If he picks off the Immortal, it'll be good, because that's already got 23 kills on it. But still, Ourk manages to maintain the pressure. This 4th centre base could be about to go down. We see already VortiX falling back. He's got Broodlords on the way, loses the 4th base though, and Ourk very well may pull back and defend after this, because, well, he's got his own 4th base up. Obviously, there is the top base up there for VortiX, but, well, losing that centre base means he is on equal bases with Ourk yet again. And now, of course, Ourk getting up his Stargate. I don't know if he's seen the Broodlords. I think he may have done. But, yep, he did see one more thing. So, obviously, knowing the Broodlords are there, he starts the Stargate, ready to get up the Fleet Beacon, of course, to get the Mothership out, which will therefore allow him to Vortex. And he'll need to get some Archons to do the whole Archon toilet effect. But, well, time as it's going means that it looks a lot like this top base is going to get picked up by Ourk as well. And this would be absolutely brilliant, because if he does manage to take it out, that could be utterly huge, because that basically pushes VortiX back down to 3 bases. But in come the Broodlords, a great blink forward, and with no energy to fungal growth, 2 of those Broodlords get sniped down very quickly. A fungal growth finally goes down on those Stalkers, and it should be VortiX able to clean this up. But, well, how much damage was done, we'll have a look after this engagement, but finally it's all looking to get cleaned up. Ourk pulling back, and, well, if we have a quick look at these resources lost, VortiX actually losing about 2,000 more resources than that of Ourk. But of course, VortiX does have up quite a good number of Broodlords now, 6 Broodlords out, and really not very much out for Ourk to defend this. He's trying to get more Stalkers desperately to basically blink under and try and snipe them down, but a good number of Zerglings are going to shut down these Stalkers very effectively. Some more sentries on their way through. The Fleet Beacon coming out ASAP. Ourk put on so much pressure there, and VortiX really not in a comfortable position, because, to be honest, if he doesn't win with this push or deal considerable damage, he could be in great problems. But that was a great blink forward there by those Stalkers, managing to snipe one Broodlord. Of course, Broodlord's trying to stay over the high ground and over the dead space in order to make sure that the Stalkers can't engage. But, well, are we going to see a fungal growth? The Infestors aren't getting any down yet, but the Zerglings are on the way in. Of course, those Zerglings do have the adrenal glands upgrade. They are also fairly strong anyway with 2-2, and of course are just shredding through those stalkers so quickly. It is difficult for Ourk to engage this. He is a long way behind in terms of supply. Gets another blink forward, and unfortunately by the looks of things, I think VortiX should be able to take this game now. He is nearly maxed out. He's got such a good number of Broodlords, and without the Colossi to reinforce Ourk's army, then really it's just gateway units against this tier 3 kind of death ball from VortiX, and that is going to be very difficult for Ourk to deal with indeed. And of course, looking here, more Infestors joining into the mix, and Voidways coming up. Because why on earth not? There's nothing that can shoot up at the moment, so that is going to be pretty tough. Ourk almost certain to lose this center base now. It's taking some pretty huge damage from these Broodlords, getting sieged ever so badly, but there's a blink forward, gets some Broodlords to go down straight away, but a Fungal Growth does manage to hit. That could cause massive problems. The Zerglings do get this round, and I think, guys, that is going to be the GG right there. Ourk has now lost his army. GG well played, but indeed, GG well played to Ourk indeed, managing to pick off those bases, perhaps overcommitting slightly to the top, but he felt pressured just due to the fact that he saw those Broodlords coming out. But of course, guys, that was game 3 of Dignitas' week's game for day 5, and well, if you did enjoy it, thumbs up the video, give it a like, leave a comment, go over to the TL thread, leave a post there, tell us what you think, and yeah, follow on social media and all that. But most importantly, I am Madals, this was Dignitas Week, and I'll catch you at game 4 any second. It's all in a playlist and on my channel. Catch you there. Bye for now, guys.